Hi everyone, welcome to the Shoes Fans Youth Film Festival. I'm Maisie and this is our second strand of short films called Reality Bites. Stick around after the screening for a Q&A with some of the people behind the films, and you'll all get a chance to ask questions in the chat from wherever you're watching from. So hope you enjoy. This is Reality Bites.
I was only in the sport because first time we played Scotland, we went down to this junior tournament. There wasn't enough players for a full roster, so they had to put me in. And I'd barely played the sport. I think I'd been to like 2 training sessions or something like that. But that's how it is, and that's how it was back then anyway. I think it's controversial, and I don't advertise that I play the sport. I just play the sport and I have fun doing it. Just a laugh for me. I have a passion for it. I love playing. I love playing. I'm quite quiet on the court. I just let my game speak for myself. I like to think I can do everything, so obviously I'm able-bodied, so I should be able to do everything. I'm able-bodied, why I'm in this sport, That goes through your head sometimes, and it's because my brother I play the sport, So when we were younger, it was just inclusive and it was just a laugh. And now it's gotten to the point where, I'm playing for Scotland and whatnot, and I'm playing high levels and stuff. I just give my ball to my brother and he would go up the court, weaving in and out, score a layup or something like that. Back then it was literally give the ball to my brother, he would score. If I never got into the sport, my relationship with my brother would be completely different, I think, because we spend a lot of time together, especially long car journeys and stuff like that, and that's when we mostly hang out, so it would be different completely.
The main reason James started was because we needed to make numbers for our own Scotland squad for the first time. I'm very grateful that he does want to do that because of that, because he wants to spend more time with me. The way he was playing as an able-bodied player, it just made me think that everybody was included in all that. And I've learned a lot from him as a player. He's learned a lot from me as a player. And even as people, we know each other a lot better because of sport.
We've been playing with each other so long now, it's just natural for us.
So I think they're best friends together as well. Brothers, but best friends.
I used to think it was unfair. Slowly I've changed my mind. I see it more as a good sport to integrate families. I've never seen somebody with cheer skills like James.
People say, oh, he's able-bodied, he can do this. I said, regardless if he's able-bodied, to be able to do that skill in that chair is unbelievable.
Our team would not be the way it is without James.
I have this photo on my camera roll and I have no idea what it is. Looking at it is kinda creepy. I don't know who took it or if I took it, and it's impossible to tell what's going on because the image is too dark and the quality is off. I also find it funny that the photo is either side of it or of a lunch I made and of my brother making a composter at the bottom of the garden, because what else are you going to do during lockdown? The fear of the unknown is a well-documented thing. Some of the times I felt the most scared, I've just had no idea what's happening. The photo after my lunch on my camera roll was actually a video of myself. I woke up with one of my eyes swollen, which has never happened to me before, and I still have no idea what it was. It was probably an allergy. The fear of the unknown is a well-documented thing. To me, if you look at the image on its side, it kind of looks like the back of someone out in the dark wearing white, but at 22 minutes past 9 on the 24th of May, I don't think the sun had even set. I was likely at home in my room because I've hardly left my house since March. In my room there's this cushion, which does look something like the white thing in the photo. I got this cushion on a holiday with my family 2 years ago in Spain. It was that holiday where I had the scariest experience of my life. I don't have any pictures, so I'll draw some. I woke up in the middle of the night to loud crashing sounds. So I looked out my hotel window, and below me, attacking the hotel door, was a man with a machete, blood all over his face. This was far scarier than the swollen eye that was probably an allergy, or the photo that was probably my cushion. This was probably the most genuine fear I'd ever felt. This was not just a fear of the unknown, this was a fear of a man with a weapon whose intentions I had no idea. And yet it was a fear I could look down on. From the security of a room on the second floor of a hotel, I was scared, but really I knew I was safe. But there are so many that live this exact fear every day without being able to feel the security I felt. A fear of men with weapons and unclear intentions, or sometimes very clear intentions. Breonna Taylor was killed in her own home. Ahmaud Arbery was killed on a jog. George Floyd was killed for a crime he might not have committed knowingly. And there are far more names, all killed by the hands of the same money-bloated institution. This is a fear I will never know.
There was an advert in the paper, Sunday paper, and I was still staying at home, and my dad, he says, "What about this?" I thought, yeah, that would be a good kind of career, a good opportunity. So, can you stem for there? The opportunity to travel extensively, and I mean, some of the places I've been and seen, it's been brilliant. Just a different type of work, and it was a great organisation to become involved with and work with. They'd have burnt it was like whale oil that would have been the fuel, then it was paraffin, and then they started using gas, and then some of the sites, the actual gas would power the light, but would also turn the lens apparatus. So you'd have like a weight that would come down the middle of the tower, and it'd be all calculated so it would revolve the lens at a certain speed. There are other lights that are smaller. There's one down at St Abbs, and there's actually it's like a well that's been cut into the stone. So that was where the weight would go down, just because they didn't have the height of the tower there. The amount of people that will make the effort to visit these, they're in some beautiful, breathtaking scenery. You've got wild weather, and obviously they were there. The purpose was to keep ships from crashing against the rocks. So you're always going to associate that. There has been shipwrecks and just like say, the winds, the movement, the creaking and things. So there's a good mixture there to get yourself a good story.
So we have our interview at the radio station at 10:10.
Okay.
Then you'll have a 4-hour gap to get ready for the premiere, grab a bite to eat, etc. Go to red carpet about 3 p.m, answer some questions, sign some autographs. The film will start about 5 p.m, and celebrations afterwards.
Cool.
All the big names will be there. It's a big moment for you to shine.
Well, just want the premiere to go well. I've worked so hard to get here.
I mean, you've been waiting for this moment for ages. Why stop now?
Oh.
Hey guys, how you doing? Nice to see you. Sorry guys, I'm in a rush. Gotta go. I can't let you guys come up. Bye.
Good morning, Aberdeen. You're listening to Jackie here, and today we're playing our latest hits and interviewing Mr. Jonathan Alexander.
Hello.
He is here to talk about his new film, Office Trouble. Now tell me, how are we feeling today, Jonathan?
Well, I'm feeling good. Yeah. I must admit though, I'm very nervous, but I'm also very excited.
Now about the film, well, I mean, there must be something great about it because, well, wow, just wow, it's what everyone's talking about.
Yeah, wow, indeed. I just can't believe all the recognition that it's getting, and the fans. Well, they've gone absolutely wild about it. They just love it.
Well, I for sure have heard great reviews, and of course, your film is premiering tonight. So, if you don't mind, I've got a few questions to ask about the film and about yourself.
Fire away.
So tell me, have you enjoyed working with the whole crew?
Oh, yeah, they were all just such lovely people. They made me feel great. They made me feel so comfortable on set.
Oh, well, that's always super important to feel comfortable with the people you work with, yeah. Of course. So tell me, who would you recommend the film to?
Well, I've got to tell you, it's something else, this film. It's something else. It's explosive. It's full of action. So if that's the kind of thing you're into, I would thoroughly recommend it.
Of course, definitely. I mean, it certainly sounds like the ideal film to me. So tell me, what is next for you?
Well, I've been in the business for as long as I can remember, and I never get bored of it. So I suppose, hopefully, still living the dream.
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Well, thank you very much, Jonathan, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Right, folks, that's all we've got time for. And Jonathan, it has been a blast. Next up, we'll be having some of the buble. The time is 11 o'clock.
Sure, there you go. There you go.
Jonathan.
There you go. Thanks for coming.
Jonathan, what's your next film? When's your next film?
What's your thoughts?
Why have you not done what I asked of you? You have until 5 p.m. to get this for me, or else. Just through this way, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for coming along tonight. I've been working on this for so long now. All I can say is I'm really, really proud of what we've done. And I know that none of you have ever doubted me on this. So, gather just the best fans in the world. Without further ado, let's watch Office Trouble. Enjoy the movie.
John! John! Get in my office right now! I noticed that you haven't completed your deadlines for the report. And I, and many of your colleagues, have noticed you've hardly been putting any effort. What's going on, Jonathan?
I can explain. I've been given all these other things to do, and well, I mean, the staff around here, they're not exactly helpful. I mean, I've got all these extra deadlines.
You know what? I agree with you.
Really?
Yes, which is why I decided to give you extra overtime so you can get back at it.
Extra overtime? Oh, I'll get straight to it then.
Unpaid.
Question for you, John. What's next for you?
West Hales is 50 years this year.
Our culture is what shapes us. It shapes our behaviour and our identity. It's our way of living. Our shared language, our values, our beliefs is what makes us who we are. It's what makes a community a community.
Score Scotland.
Score Scotland.
Celebrate difference. That's what it's all about. It's about celebrating difference.
My name is Nabiria and I manage SCORE Scotland.
Hi, so my name is Shasta and I am the Equalities Engagement Officer for SCORE Scotland.
SCORE, the first part of our name, stands for Strengthening Communities for Race Equality Scotland. We support people. When we provide information to people, when we build self-confidence and capacity, when we include them, when we enable them to participate, we are strengthening communities. Wester Hailes is 50 years this year.
So 50 years of the first housing that was built in Wester Hailes, and we're also celebrating the diversity that makes up Wester Hailes.
There has been an ethnic minority and Black presence in Wester Hailes for very many years. So today we were celebrating that presence and the contribution that different minorities have made to Wester Hailes.
50 years ago, and it is 50 years ago, it's hard to believe, I was a student here over at what was then Edinburgh College of Commerce and is now Napier University. I worked on the building site here when we were just laying the foundations for Wester Hailes 50 years ago. So I was there right at the very beginning, before this was just a greenfield site.
But there's 50 years since Wester Hailes has been around. There has been a community newspaper around called Wester Hailes Sentinel. We've been working through the archives the past 40 to 50 years, and we've been looking at really interesting articles. Race equality has always been on the forefront of Wester Hailes. The movement has been really strong. Even before we were here, there were different organisations that the race equality movement was doing. We found articles about celebrating Eid, celebrating different cultural events. We found articles about racism in the neighbourhood and what the police were doing and what the local neighbourhood councils were doing. So it's been really, really interesting. So as part of this film, we're taking some of those interesting stories and photos, and we've had a stand downstairs that people can browse, and it's been really interesting. Some folk have come along and recognised themselves, and we're just hoping to continue that work.
My name's Kate Bettany. I used to be a community education worker, and for a while I worked in Wester Hales. I worked with Shamim Mansouri and Philip Chan, who set up the first community relations forum in Wester Hales in 1992, a very long time ago. This was found in the archives, and this is 1992, and this is a photograph about the setting up of the Community Relations Forum to try and discuss things about race and racism and racist incidents. And there's me in the background looking remarkably younger than I look now. No white hair at that point. And I very much enjoyed the work then, which is why I then became much more interested in that work generally. It's all about human rights, and I think that's very important for everybody.
And the whole point of this event today was to bring people together. We've had a programme of events for today. We've had drumming, we've had a Scottish piper, we've had West African dance classes, we had a Black History talk.
Even 500 years ago. So the performance we had at the beginning with the bagpipes, a lot of the money that was invested into things like railways between Leith and Edinburgh.
Our Score Scotland young people, they did a presentation as well.
I'm out. Yay! Yeah, we enjoyed watching. Thank you so much.
We've had henna painting, arts and crafts based around world flags and culture. We've had a swap shop from our Greener Futures project. We've had a short social history walk, so finding about Wester Hales and the history.
Hello, my name's Ewan Howard. I moved to Wester Hales in late 1988. I very quickly became interested in the social history of Wester Hales, and as part of that I run various social history walks. And although the weather's not ideal, I'm just about to run a social history walk for this event.
This is a social history walk led by long-time Wester Hales resident and community activist Ewan Howard.
And we're just also doing a cycle ride just now. And the whole point is just for people to chat, to meet each other, get to know each other, get to know their neighbours, and just get together. We just want people to mix. We want people to learn from each other, be happy, just celebrate music, and everybody chats over lunch. So we had a good community lunch, and we're just hoping that people can just mingle. And I suppose that's the basis of today, is just bringing people together.
My name is Shola. Yeah, I've been living here for 10 years now. When I first came into this area, I was quite lonely. There was a day Scotland was putting up a table in Westside Plaza, and I was quite happy and impressed that there's such an organization around this small community that helps especially women who are isolated and lonely like myself, because I was lonely that time. There was an opportunity to volunteer, and I thought, why not? So I will volunteer. And not quite long during the volunteering process, a job opportunity came up. And it was one of those things that I love, cooking food. Who doesn't like food? So I love food. So I came on board. I quickly jumped on the bus. There are always community food as well on Fridays. So I was part of that. I was happy I was involved. And I could say I have been helped from the lonely state to a state where I am now working and I'm doing well. And I could feed my own family by myself. Then I was about to be homeless. It was Coast Scotland that helped me and got me into Prospect. And now I have a house on my roof and no longer homeless, no longer lonely. I'm a happy person, ready to help anyone in the community, ready to give back. So I'm in a good place now. All thanks to Scotland and to God. That's all I could say.
There's so many young people who, if they did not come to Scotland youth clubs, they would be at home, bored, maybe in their bedrooms, probably on the internet or watching TV, which is not so good for their mental health or even their physical health. Here, the activities that we offer are varied and exciting. It is important to have events like this because it's an opportunity to bring people together. It is an opportunity to give visibility to minorities. And it is an opportunity for mainstream society to appreciate that we are here and for them to show us that our contribution matters and they like us being here.
Events like this are so important, and they're important because as a nation, we're still dealing with hate crime. The hate crime figures for Scotland, 2/3 of the hate crimes that were reported were race related. So race is still the highest reported charged hate crime that happens. So there's obviously a problem there somewhere. Score Scotland is a third party reporting centre, and basically that means that if you want to report racism or you've had prejudice or discrimination and you don't want to go to the police, you can directly report to us as an organisation. We would build those barriers with the police, report it on your behalf, or make that meeting with the police happen. We want to break down barriers. We want people to feel comfortable with each other, learn from each other, celebrate difference. That's what it's all about. It's about celebrating difference.
I would say there's been change, but I think the struggle continues. People still have issues that need to be addressed. And so I think there's still work to be done.
Our racial, cultural and ethnic groups, they're forever developing and growing, as is our world. We can either fight it or embrace it and celebrate our uniqueness. The more diverse a community is, the more we can learn from each other.
Here with me now are some of the filmmakers from some of the films. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself, what film you're part of. So we can start with Casey, and we can just go around the group.
Hi, my name's Casey, and I was producer on the last film, Delilah.
Roy.
Hello, I'm Roy. I'm the director and the only person who worked on my one. It's the Northern Lighthouse Board, so hello everyone.
Annabelle.
Hi, I'm Annabelle, and I was the director for the film Delilah.
And Abudi.
Hello, my name's Abudi, and I was the director for 50 Years of Diversity in Wester Hailes.
And then Fergus.
Hi, I'm Fergus. I'm the director for I Have This Photo on My Camera Roll.
Okay, so I have some of my own questions, and then towards the end we'll move towards some audience questions. And I'll start with Abudi and then go around the group. So firstly, how did you get into filmmaking to begin with?
I actually started volunteering as a filmmaker for a also ethnic minority organization called LREC. I volunteered there for a year, and they were actually the ones who referred me to Score Scotland, who I continued to work with for a year.
Annabelle.
That was actually one of my first kind of projects as a filmmaker. That was with the GMAC BFI group. So that was a course that took place over 14 weeks where we kind of learnt about the industry and, you know, the different factors of things that go into it and stuff like that. So that was actually my first project as a filmmaker.
And Roy?
So my documentary was it was actually like we had to make a thing for uni to get into uni. So I made this by myself for like I'm not sure what you call it, like the uni gave us a theme, so we made a film for uni. But yeah, I made it by myself, so I don't know what to say about it. But honestly, I want to say something though. I'm extremely impressed by the level of quality here. I thought some of them were all of them were absolutely amazing, but some in particular were just blowing me away. So, yeah.
Cool, thank you. Casey?
I'm the same as Anvil, really, so this is all kind of new to me. I got through into filmmaking through GMAC and kind of worked on past projects, and that I got into Delilah as well.
Thank you. And Fergus?
Yeah, I've just kind of been making like short things with friends. Nothing much really, but yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. Just little projects.
Cool. So, where did each of you get the idea for your film? And we'll go in the same order as last time. So, Abudi.
Well, it wasn't so much an idea as much as of a moment that we wanted to record and, you know, have on film for people to see and for people to just to celebrate and have this memory to look back on about the ethnic minorities' history in Western Hales. Because it's all just like, as you see, it's all newspapers and they're all just sitting there in boxes. So it's almost like giving them life, but also celebrating the generations to come and be like, your ancestors were here, so don't feel like you're alone. So, yeah.
Cool. And Annabelle or Casey, you can answer this one because whoever wants to answer.
Yeah, so we didn't actually come up with the idea for a film, it was someone else in our course, but it kind of was created through a few weeks just processing it and trying to come up with something that we could do in like that time period and stuff like that. And then we just got given our roles on set and stuff. But yeah, we didn't actually come up with it. Can't take credit for that.
Okay. Roy?
So, like, I was a student at Edinburgh College whilst I was making the documentary. The idea, though, I don't know where it came from. I guess, like, I was always interested in lighthouses, and then there was this thing called the Northern Lighthouse Board in George Street, which I always passed by, and I emailed them, and they were like really helpful and like let me interview Craig and stuff. Yeah, I made it in like February this year, so it was just before like the whole pandemic thing happened. What else can I say about it? I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I want to talk about everyone else's films instead because I thought they were so interesting. Everyone else's. I thought the one that Fergus made. I don't know what that was called, but it was like really good. I thought the way you used the images like piled on top of each other and stuff, and the voiceover was like excellent.
Thank you.
And the one with, was it called Dream a Little Dream? I think. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I loved that one. The performances were great. Like it was beautifully photographed as well, and it really told a story, like, which is difficult to do. I know when you're like a student or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't want to talk about myself though, because I'm like extremely boring. Everyone else's films was like way better than mine. So what can I say? Yeah, I'm just glad to be here. I think.
Thank you. Fergus?
Yeah, so I think my idea just kind of came from like all the sitting around that like happens that came with lockdown, and like the news of all this like awful stuff with police brutality in America, and you kind of just forced to like sit with it. And I don't know. I think then when I found this photo on my phone, like it kind of, the idea just came kind of naturally because like these problems are just always so present because there's nothing really else to I don't know, distract you from it. So I think that's kind of how the idea came about.
Cool. So in total, how long did it take you to write, shoot, and edit the film? Abudi?
Yes. I started in October, well, September, October last year, and editing took forever, really, because there's a lot of animations, there's a lot of putting together the fabric of the documentary. It's a lot of different mini stories, and you're trying to blend them all together. So it took a while. I think I finished it in February, I think. And yeah, like March, just before lockdown, really. So yeah.
Cool. Annabelle or Casey again?
The film took about a few months or so because basically the way the course is run is that we met up like every Saturday, if I remember correctly. Yeah, planning took along. There was a lot of development, but the actual shoot took one day. Very hectic one day. So.
And Roy?
So I took 7 days to shoot this, not to shoot it, but just to like everything. Like, took 7 days. So I emailed like the Northern Lighthouse Board on day one, I guess you could call it, and then they replied the next day. So the third day I was like interviewing Craig, or whatever. It was snowing the day I went there, and then I had to then go through the footage and see what he spoke about, and then get some relative like B-roll that he spoke about. So yeah, the next day after that, I drove to St Abbs, which is like quite far away from my house, and like this massive trek, like all the camera equipment by myself, up to this lighthouse, and it was extremely cold and stuff, and it was good though. And I got this, like, it was a beautiful day, so I got this really nice footage of the place. Then I also went into like Berwick-upon-Tweed, which is in England, to get some footage there as well. And Dunbar's got a lighthouse, so I went there too. So it was like a massive struggle to get all, because I had a deadline for this as well, because I was doing my college work at the same time. So the UCAS had sent me like a deadline, which was like the end of February, to get this done, to submit it to the unis and stuff. So I think it was like the 26th of February, if I can remember, when we had the deadline. So I had finished it in a week. So it was like a big struggle to get done. And it was sort of rushed, I suppose, because it was only a week. But yeah, it was a good experience to do it, because I had to like really manage my time well and stuff. Even though it was just me by myself, I had to get the equipment out, make sure I had enough time to edit and stuff. Yeah, I've nothing like much to add. It's quite a simple thing, but
That's all good. Thank you. And Fergus?
Yeah, so the film took like, I don't know, maybe like 30 minutes, an hour to write, because it was kind of just like the stream of consciousness thing of like linking these images together. But then I probably spent over a month trying to edit it and get it right, and like just keep on like, because I was never happy with it, I would just leave it for weeks or days and just not touch it because I just didn't want to look at it. But yeah, then I kind of finally completed it when like I found like the right music for it. Like I guess I made it, but it's actually kind of funny because like I put it all, I probably hadn't touched it in probably about a month, and then my brother like put on this record and it broke and it started looping, and then I used the sample of like this broken loop, this like, and then just like recorded that on my phone, and it like fit really well. And so once I had that, I was kind of sorted, I thought, with the film, and I kind of managed to put it all together then.
Cool, thank you. So if you were to remake the film, would you change it in any way? If not, that's fine. But yeah. And I'll start with a Biddy again.
I wouldn't change much. I would probably get someone to film it because I did film it all by myself using a Ronin, and I think that was my only second time using a gimbal to film. And I did have a friend of mine, Jennifer, to like record the audio for the interviews. But it was just really hard directing and thinking of the shots and running around the event to document everything at the same time doing the research. I'll probably have a team to, so I understand Roy's struggles filming the whole thing by yourself. Yeah, I did. I like how it turned out and the impact it did for Score Scotland as a charity and the community, really. So yeah, pretty happy with it.
Cool. Casey or Annabelle?
No.
On you go. On you go.
I don't know. I like how the film came out. I suppose from a producer side, maybe a bit more planning because I said the shoot they did feel a bit hectic, but I liked it in the end. How about you?
Yeah, I think it was quite a fun like film to make. It wasn't a very like deep idea, which was like it was just more of a fun thing, I think. So it's hard to say what you do different because it was just kind of more about for us like the experience of being in set and like working together as a team more than I think what the film was actually about. So yeah.
And Roy?
So was the question if I could make the film again, would I do something different?
Yeah.
Is that what the question was? I'd do everything different. I would do everything different. I would get a proper like crew and stuff. I'd be more organised. I would be just everything wrong with the film. I don't know. I'd have like better sound, better like I think everyone has these problems. They see what they've done and they think I could do so much better. But I don't know. At the end of the day, like I feel like what I've done is something that I'll never do again because you learn from the mistakes you make. And like the spontaneity, if like the idea comes to you, you've only got a week. Like in my case, I only had a week to do it. So, I mean, if I had longer, it would be better, obviously, but it wouldn't be the same. But yeah, I'm glad I made it. I'm glad I made the mistakes that I did making it. Because through the mistakes at this level, like you learn from your mistakes, hopefully, as I've learned. And I don't know. I feel like I'm like even if it's bad, like, I don't think it's very good. But like I feel like I'm better for making the mistakes that I've made and hopefully moving past them or whatever. That's about as good as I can do just now.
Cool. And Fergus?
Yeah, I think if I was to change one thing, it'd probably be the music because like I was just grabbing like random drum samples off the internet and like putting them together on Premiere. Like I've no like knowledge of how to make music or any music making software, so I was just like putting these random drum samples next to each other on Premiere and hoping it would work. And I'm not really sure if it did, but so I would try and do the music again.
Okay, cool. So what was the highlight of your filmmaking process? So was there like one shoot day in particular that was your favorite, or like finishing the script or something? A Biddy, yeah.
The highlight for me is what I mean, the experience, the shots of where me and Shasta were going through the archive and finding all these interesting stories. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened. It was a lot of aha moments, like, it did happen here. These guys were living here. Like, what's happening? And all these images. But also what I got out of it, because Square Scotland wasn't so much of a like client, but we also had this like really good partnership, and yeah, like we still talk, even though it was made last year. They're really good people. So yeah, I guess the relationships I got out of it as well. So
yeah. Annabelle or Katie?
Probably, to be honest, for us, it's probably when we just finished shooting, because it was just such a big relief to have it all done. It was a really hectic day. We had so many people just running about. So yeah, probably when we stopped shooting.
Yeah, and when we finally got to see the film, that was...
When we finally got to see the film, yeah.
Cool. And Roy?
I'm the opposite, actually. When I finish it, I'm like disappointed as hell, because I'm like, it never amounts up to what I expected. But if I had a favourite moment, it was like, I don't know if anyone even saw it, but like at the last shot of my documentary, there's a part where like a pan to the ocean, and it's weird, like the little compass thing on the lighthouse weirdly like turns with the camera. And I remember like seeing that and going, that'll be the last shot. Even though I never even knew what the thing was about at the time. I was just like, I really am enjoying the way this compass is moving as I'm panning this camera, and that's kind of beautiful. So that for me was like the most exciting part, like standing on this freezing cold cliff, pointing the camera at this lighthouse that doesn't even work anymore. I'm thinking, this is kind of cool. Like, even though like this, it kind of sucks as well. It kind of sucks as well, like just stuck in this cliff, like pointing this camera of it. That for me was the best part. I don't even care how the thing turned out in the end, but there you go.
And Fergus?
Yeah, I think for me it was just finishing the script and like realizing that I had like some sort of idea to go off and make something, I think, yeah.
Cool. So what are your next steps? Do you have any plans to make any more films, or I don't know, go to uni, or any plans? Avidi?
So next steps in terms of film, I was working on another film with Score Scotland, a documentary film about how they are reacting to, the whole pandemic situation and all the vulnerable Black, brown, people of color, families and children in the area. So we were working with that, but pandemic happened, and it was really difficult to document everything. And I did start uni recently. I'm doing a master's at University of Edinburgh. So yeah, that's on hold at the moment, but that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. Casey, I'll go to you first.
Currently I'm just studying, but hopefully at some point I'll be able to make some more stuff again, hopefully with some people I worked with before, but at the moment, no, not much.
Cool. And Annabelle?
Yeah, so I'm in Essex at school right now, so I'm hoping to go to uni to study film or RCS or something like that.
Cool. Roy?
I'm at Queen Margaret University in Edinburgh. I'm not filming anything just now, but I'm always like just messing around with a camera, like taking photos and stuff and trying to make something, even like in the like dire situation we find ourselves in. I've got a website as well, which that's a good way to like, I don't know if any of you have got a website, but like, even if you're the only one that looks at it, just posting your own stuff on it and stuff, it's like quite satisfying. So yeah, I post stuff on my website and just like I just like entertain myself basically. I make films for me to play. People like them, but yeah. There we go. I'm muting myself now.
And Fergus?
Yeah, I don't have any like film plans at the moment. But I think making that film has kind of opened me up to more like making more, because I used to always make little like sort of more like drama and like narrative type films, but I'd love to make more documentary or like based in like reality type films. But yeah, just kind of busy with studying at the moment.
Cool. So I've got some like more specific questions. And then if there's any audience questions, we'll get to them in a bit. So, Abudi, how would you like describe the community of Wester Hills in a few words?
I would describe the community of Wester Hills as vibrant, colorful, pun intended, but also, I mean, disadvantaged at the same time, and they do need this attention. They do need support. They do, yeah, like organizations like Score Scotland, the vulnerable BME families want to be as well as they are at the moment, if that makes sense. So yeah, I'd say very vibrant, very welcoming people.
Cool. So Fergus, the pace of your film is really fast. And I was just wondering if it was like a creative decision or like a deliberate decision on your part, or if it just happened.
Yeah, I think, well, it was definitely deliberate, and I think it was kind of to like, I wanted to like have more impact and to feel more intense, and I think if I was just speaking it like slowly, it wouldn't really have that. So I wanted like a fast pace to it to really give it that impact. Yeah.
And Annabelle and Casey, I know that yours was made on the BFI Film Academy. So what would you say your favorite part of it was? And if you would recommend it to others?
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to others. I think the best part of it is the people you meet. That sounds like quite cliched, but it's true. Like, met a lot of friends, met Fergus there, met Casey there. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. I think it's a really good eye opener to the film industry.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. As well as that, like, you learn so much there as well. Like, I knew nothing about producing or just production in general, so yeah, if anyone is interested in the film, I'd highly recommend it.
And Roy, where did you film? And were there any challenges with where you filmed? Because obviously lighthouses are in quite quiet places and secluded places. So was there any challenges?
This is boring just now, I think. But anyway, if anyone wants to listen, it was in February, so it was really cold, and I've got a car, so it was difficult to find parking. This is the most boring stuff, but I think when you're filming though, if anyone you're probably all younger than I am, but when filming, it's always important to even if you're going to the most basic place, always always prepare for what you're going to do. So you want to find good parking. You want to make sure there's toilets and stuff. And you want to make sure that where you're going is not the most inhospitable place. Yeah, and because it was such a small time frame for me to make this film, it was all such a rush. So as I was by myself, it was easy for me to just go I'll just get on with it or whatever. Yeah, I think there's something about like just like going for it though that makes it exciting for me anyway. I can only speak for myself, but yeah, it was pretty hard going like shooting where I was, especially like the little things really matter as well because it was so windy where I was. Like just trying to get the camera to stay still and stuff like that. These are things you have to think about because you're not thinking about the time when you're shooting. This is probably like really boring right now, but yeah, that's the lot. You have to think about a lot of things when you're shooting on like these locations and stuff.
Okay, and a last question from me. What is the best advice that you could give to people, or if you don't have any, what's the best piece of advice you've been given? So yeah, we'll start with the Biddy.
Believe in yourself. I don't. So cliche, so cliche. I would say I don't have specific one sentence advice. I would say stick with your guts, do what you love because you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life. Also, have a side hustle. Yeah, post stuff on Instagram, sell stuff on Instagram. That's my advice. Great
Cool.
advice? I don't know.
Casey?
I would say what I hear a lot from everyone is just make stuff. Like, just whenever, even if you don't think it's very good, just make stuff. I should probably follow that advice a bit more at the moment, but yeah, I think as long as you're just creating and doing something, then that's good. I don't know.
Annabelle?
Probably just to make something that you'd want to watch yourself. Like, never make something for your audience, make it for you. I'd say that. And know what kind of filmmaker you want to be and what you like to make. So, yeah.
Cool. And Roy?
Whenever I hear this question, because everyone asks this question all the time, like when you hear these Q&As and stuff. I think what Annabelle said, like make a film that you want to see, but that like hopefully other people want to see as well. I remember there's a director called Nicholas Winding Refn that probably some of you hopefully know. That he says he asked this really good director called Elia Kazan what advice he'd give a young director, and Elia Kazan always said like do it your way, which I don't know why, but like every time I hear that question, that always sticks with me, like do it your way, because it's so like ambiguous, I think. But yeah, do it your way. I think that's like the only thing you can say. I can't speak for myself because I'm like I don't know anything. Elia Kazan did something. There you go.
Cool. And Fergus?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of just agree with everyone. I think like don't give up on your film. Like just keep like going with it, even if it's like you think it's really awful. Just like finish it because it's like you'll always be happy in the end to have something finished rather than something unfinished. So yeah.
Okay, so if there's no audience questions, there's if you go to the like chat box, there's a place where everyone can vote for their favorite film, and that'll be announced at the end of the festival. And thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. So yeah, I hope to see you like at the other events, at the other screenings. Yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you.